When you send your writing sample example to Textbroker, they require quite a bit of information to it. Specifically, they want it in a certain tone, voice, and format. I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary, and today I want to dive into understanding the Textbroker writing sample example requirements. Now, before we get started, don't forget the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about Textbroker, freelance writing, or all the other things that I cover. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the section down below, or you can also hit me up on social media at on Twitter and Facebook. I try to pay as close attention as I can to social media, so that's a good way to get a hold of me. Or you can also use the contact form on WriterSanctuary.com's website. Now, when you submit your writing sample example to Textbroker, they're going to rate your work initially as how they see fit. This means you can start off as a 2, 3, or 4. Now, a lot of people have the luck of starting off as a 4-star, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll keep it. This is just your initial sample. So once you submit it and they rate your work, then you can open up and grab 5 articles from the open pool according to your level. Personally, I started off as a 3-star. Never knew anything about AP style, and it was a bit of an adventure. But I eventually got the 4-star, and I have had pretty good luck with it. Except for the first time where I lost it in 3 days. But anyway, let's break down the requirements of the writing sample. Now, this is a screenshot from Textbroker of what it's looking for. You got the tone and style, the voice, and the format. So let's break down each one of these sections. First of all, the tone and style. The submissions must be written in American English, obviously. Adopt a neutral tone that is neither formal nor informal. Now, to do a neutral tone, the best way to do it is to write in third person. And you definitely don't want to use any excessive terms and language. For the most part, your target audience isn't going to be college graduates. In fact, a lot of clients on Textbroker want something that's very easy to read. Remain objective. Now, what this means is that you don't take sides, essentially. You're neither positive nor negative against a product or place or person or thing. It's a completely objective point of view. Now, an example of objective writing would be something like delivering facts. Like if I was to say that nearly 1/3 of the websites on the internet are ran by WordPress, and then I link to that source that demonstrates my point, that is an objective sentence because it's neither being positive on WordPress, it's not being negative on WordPress, it's delivering solid facts. So if I was to write my writing sample on, let's say, the Red Rocks Amphitheater here in Denver, I could say, or I can deliver facts on its altitude and how people can get to it, all the different venues that are there. That is all objective because that is all straight fact. There's no positive like I hate it or I can't make it up the steps or people seem to enjoy the walk going up and down. That might actually be kind of on the objective side, so it depends on observation. But that's an example of objective writing, is pretty much using straight fact to deliver information that's neither positive nor negative. It's just raw information. The aim of this article is to grab the attention of the reader and encourage them to check out the topic you've chosen. So essentially, you want to write a piece that encourages people to write, and that's the same thing with if you're running your own blog post or writing for clients, you want to make sure you're able to grab the attention of the reader and cause them to keep reading the information. Do not include poetry, dialogue, script, recipes, resumes, content written entirely in a bullet list, emoticons, inappropriate or offensive content, unprofessional language, and swear words. In other words, write like a professional. Now, it's okay to use some bullet lists. It depends on the topic that you're writing about. Just make sure that if you do, that it makes up a very small portion of the writing sample because you only have between 200 and 300 words to write this piece. So if you fill it up with bullet lists, they're going to reject it. But if you want to do like 4 or 5 bullet list points of containing maybe 1 or 2 words each, that might be okay. So what about the voice? Write in third person perspective. Now, writing in third person isn't all that difficult. It's just you have to keep in mind that you can't use you or your, I, me. Well, like my example earlier about WordPress, that it controls 1/3 of the internet. And in that sentence, it's completely third person. So you can write a sentence like people seem to like the taste of the steak at this certain steakhouse, but you wouldn't be able to say, I like the taste of it, or my friend liked the taste of it. Do not address the reader except in the call to action. Well, this is along the lines of what I just said earlier about writing in third person, is that you don't use words like you or your or I or me. Now, if you're creating a piece that has a call to action in it, then you can go ahead and add it as according to Textbroker's terms. So like you can add something like, if you want to find out more information, submit your article now. That's all written in second person because I'm using you and your. Format. Choose one of the following topics to write about. Sightseeing in your city, party locations in your city, favorite store, business, or brand, your favorite film or book. If I remember right, I wrote mine on a brand, but it's been like a long time, so I can't really 100% remember what I wrote my piece. But you see, you have quite a bit of options there. You can write just about anything that really connects to you in real life. If I was to write one nowadays, I'd probably do one on sightseeing in Denver and do a short write-up, like especially with Red Rocks or maybe Estes Park. If you like to go out and party, you can use party locations nearby. Perhaps you like to shop at a certain store. Like, I love shopping at Micro Center because I can find all the computer parts I need, and so I'd probably write one about it. Keep your submissions between 200 and 300 words. Now, back in the day, they weren't too strict about this. Like, if you wrote like 305 to 310 words, that was still acceptable. I'm not sure how anal they are nowadays. My piece was well over 300 words. Then again, I'm always going way over the call of duty when it comes to writing content for clients on Textbroker. Especially if I have solid points that I want to keep in the piece to make it all flow better, then I will definitely make them way longer. Yeah, I make less money per word that way, but the client gets an awesome piece of content. Some HTML coding is required in the samples. The specific HTML required will be listed in the following instructions for help applying the HTML formatting. Check out this video. Now, with HTML formatting, you need to know how to operate headers. Headers, bolds, italicized, bullet points. The Textbroker system lets you put in certain amounts of HTML in it. They also have some ways of adding that manually. Now, HTML headers goes as H1 is your title, H2 is a subheading referring to the title, H3 would be information that's referring to H2, and so on and so forth. Now, the heading tags all have a hierarchy that you should figure out how to follow. And if you want to find out more information about that, you can always check out w3schools.com, which is a free platform for helping you learn pretty much anything HTML, CSS, PHP. I mean, they got a huge list of stuff, and I'll leave a link in that website in the description down below. And then the rest of the instructions pretty much tell you exactly what I just said. Begin with an appropriate title. Use HTML to format your title with H1 tags in italics. Introduce a topic no more than 100 words. Now, this is a short introduction paragraph that most clients are going to need. Essentially, you're asking a question and then answering it, and then kind of breaking down what people are going to read in the next, 200 words. Continue the meaningful subheading that refers to the next paragraph. Use HTML to format the subheading with H2 tags. Just like I said earlier, the H2 will refer to the H1. In the following paragraph, go into detail about one aspect of the topic you've chosen. This paragraph should demonstrate how well you can argue your points. End your submission with a call to action that encourages the reader to check out the topic for themselves. Now, back when I wrote my article 7.5 years ago, I didn't need to worry about doing a call to action, but now it's such an important part of writing content for clients that it looks like Textbroker is requiring it. That's not saying that you absolutely have to use second person writing in your call to action. Some call to action links and references can work easily in third person. Use HTML strong tags to highlight keywords or important points in the text. Do not include more than 3 or 4 instances of bold text, and logically spread it throughout the article. Now, what this means is that when you're writing about a specific topic and you come across something that would activate as like an important keyword or an important reference of something, you'd want to put it in bold. Now, a lot of websites will do this, and a lot of authors will, so it gets the attention of the reader and keeps their eyes moving down the page. Something that important in the sentence that makes it pop. Now, you don't want to overuse the bold text because then it just looks horrible. Just like Textbroker wants you to, 3 or 4 times we should be fine. So I have a feeling that I probably confused you more than you already were when you came in to watch the video, and if so, I deeply apologize. If there's something specific you want me to talk about, you can leave it in the comments down below. But if you want to see my example of a Textbroker writing sample, I'll leave a link to that page in the description down below as well. It's a quick little basic 311 word write-up that I did that pretty much follows all the guidelines that they want. And I added a little bit of information about what makes it a good sample. So that might be quite helpful to you. So hopefully I helped you out instead of confusing you even more. And remember that if you want to ask me something directly and specifically, I can be reached at the contact form, social media, or in the comment section down below. Anything regarding the video, anything you want to talk about, feel free. So if you're thinking about getting on at Textbroker and you have to write your sample, what is your topic going to be about? Leave in the comments down below. Like I said, I wish I could remember what mine was about. I think it was about Insulad paint additive. It's an additive that you add to your walls to improve the cooling and air conditioning and heating of your house. Really great product, but I think that's what I wrote about, but I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I've done over 5,000 articles since then, so everything just kind of runs into one big jumble of words. But if you find the video informative, hit the like button. If you want to learn more about Textbroker, freelance writing, WordPress, or anything else that I cover, hit the subscribe button and don't forget the notification bell. I think that's going to do it for me today. I'll see you tomorrow.